This is pretty emotional to look out and see beloveds physically here and to feel that connection to all of those who are participating via this beautiful technology. And let's all give a hand to that this was possible for half a year. For half a year, we have been able to experience what we are going to be talking about today, this feeling of oneness. I am Reverend Karen Lewis. It is my joy to be here. Oh, it has been a full morning already, has it not? Has it not? I don't know about you, but my morning started off kind of funny. I opened the computer for my notes for the talk today and saw a blank document. And I was like, I wonder what wants to come through today. Clearly not what I had written throughout the week. So we are all in for a treat. We're all in for a treat. And we know the topic is oneness and what can go wrong. What can go wrong? So we're going to explore oneness, this concept that is a pillar of our teaching. As a matter of fact, on my desk, I have bookmarks, and they have the Science of Mind principles on it. And the very first principle of this teaching is indeed oneness. So we are going to explore it today. We're going to talk about the concept. Why is oneness a revolutionary idea, a radical idea, and how can we step into that? Are you ready for the journey? Are you ready? Yes. Yes. Well, let's see. I invite everyone to rise. Those at home, please stand up. And we're going to have 3 claps, because these claps bring us into this now moment. So thank you for standing. I wish I could look on the other side of the camera, because I see our people standing, right? Just like we are here. So the first clap is if you are willing to lay down anything that came before this moment for the next half an hour and not be pulled away by that which is outside of right this container. If you're willing to let it go for half an hour, please clap with me on 3. 1, 2, 3. Yes. The second clap is if you're willing to open your mind, your heart to all the things that we're going to hear today, how people have experienced oneness. If you're willing to have an open mind and an open heart, please clap with me on 3. 1, 2. Yes. And the third clap. If you are willing to practice these tools that we are going to hear today, one of them, all of them, just bringing them into your life. Now, only clap if you are a yes, if you're willing to practice these tools with all of us. Here we go. 1, 2. Oh, we have some willing people. Great. All right, thank you. Have a seat. Thank you. Thank you for participating. I love doing this. Those of you who come to the New Vision Center, who are part of our center, know I love this. Not only does it bring you into this space, all of us, it brings me into this space as well. It brings me into this space. And so today we are exploring there's only one. There's only one. And we're going to start off with this wonderful quote by Lama Govinda. He says, "No individual exists in their own nature, independent of all other factors of life. Each has the totality of the universe at their base." So he's saying each one of us, all of us, have the totality of the universe at our base. Now, we love some wonderful quotes, don't we? Yes. And what we need to really look at, am I willing to live my life from that place where I truly believe that there is only one, and that all of us, and each and every one of us, is a manifestation of that one. Am I really willing? Am I willing? One of my teachers, Dr. David Alexander, he is fond of telling this story. He is a science of mind teacher. He's now in Atlanta. He used to be in Oregon, but he grew up right here in the valley, and he grew up in this teaching. He grew up right at the First Church of Religious Science in Phoenix, together with our founding minister, Reverend Joyce Murphy, which I always thought was great. And he's fond of telling this story. As a teenager, he was so into this teaching. And he would go to the bookstore and he would look at anything he could find on metaphysics. And then he would also look at the religious section. And he would take a look at the religious books, and he would be particularly interested in if they had a section of what they considered a cult. And then he would look if maybe unity and science of mind was listed there as a cult. And he got excited about it because when he did some more research into it, he saw that this is the reason why science of mind was considered a cult. It said they believe that they are one with God. And he would be like, great, they get us, they understand. It is a very, very clear saying of what this teaching stands for. And it is a great big, it's a big order, is it not? For us to stand in that we recognize that there is one power that is omnipresent, that is everywhere. And if it is everywhere, well, who has to be in it? Each one of us. There's nothing outside of it. Nothing. So let's breathe that in. One power, and we are each manifestations of that one power. Now, if you are familiar with our teaching, you know that we have this wonderful what we believe statement that our founder, Dr. Ernest Holmes, penned in 1927, I believe. And there are 12 different statements. And here's the first one. And it says exactly the same. We believe in God, the living Spirit Almighty, one indestructible, absolute, and self-existing cause. This one manifests itself in and through all creation, but is not absorbed by its creation. And all that really means is that we, as an organization, as a faith tradition, as a philosophy, believe that there is no end to the creation of the divine. There's no end of bringing forth more, new, because we believe that there's an infinite amount of ideas that bring themselves forth into the good. The manifest universe, which is everything we see, is the body of God. It is a logical and necessary outcome of the infinite self-knowingness of God. Ooh. Who read this for the first time and was, oh, I get it. I didn't. I had to read that over and over. And what I realized that I love reading these things, and I love hearing how different people express it. But when it becomes really interesting is when we bring it into our own life, right? Because it is a radical idea, is it not? It is a radical idea to stand and say that I believe that I am one with everyone and everything and all the good in the world. If we think about it, not only did the Buddha bring forth this teaching, because the Buddha always said that we have to empty ourselves to be open to the allness of life. The master teacher, Jesus, taught the same thing. He had a ministry of loving everyone, no matter what. And not from afar, and not from, oh, they don't know what they do, and I put them outside of me, but rather bringing everyone very close. At a time where that was very, very much against the social rule. He was a rabbi. He was having dinner with people usually rabbis weren't having dinner with. And he gave the world such clear instructions. Love God, love your neighbor as yourself. That's it. There's no space in his teaching to say that those people out there are doing something wrong. There was no separation. I loved how Reverend Leslie last week walked us through that powerful prayer and spoke in the first two steps of, that is what we do, right? In the first two steps of our spiritual mind treatment, we are affirming that there's only one and that I am one with all of it. Now, if the master teacher, Jesus, is too far past for you, let's take a look at something more recent. Somebody who took this idea of oneness to what I believe a new level. His name is Dr. Hum Len. He took a job in a criminal asylum in Hawaii in the 1980s. I believe it was in 1983. He was assigned this ward with many people. I want to say it was 48 people. Might be a little off on that number. And what he did was he sat down every day for the 8 hours, and he would take one of the files of these individuals who were in this asylum, and he would connect with what they did. He would connect with what they did from a place of understanding that anything that has taken place in life that I am aware of, that's coming to me, I have some agreement with. I have some agreement with. We might all have noticed that. I have noticed it in my life. If I am interested in some particular car, or if I have something that I want to bring into my experience, I see it everywhere. Have you ever had that experience? Yeah, I see a bunch of nods, right? We notice things. We notice because our awareness rises. Well, he takes this to a whole other level. And what he is saying is he is taking total responsibility for your life, means that everything in your life, simply because it is in your life, is your responsibility. Wow. Right? Everything that is in our life is our responsibility. That is a hard one to wrap our arms around, is it not? He comes from the place that our conscious mind only knows a little fraction of all the memory that is stored within us. And all of the memory and all of the experiences that get activated when something happens out there, and all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, it's in me. And so what he did, he used the very, very old Hawaiian tradition of Ho'oponopono to clear out himself. And this is the important thing. How many are familiar with the Ho'oponopono prayer? Yeah, I see about half. Yep, half online too. So we're all aligned. So let me talk a little bit about this prayer and know that this is a whole big philosophy, and it's fascinating to me. And here is what it is. There are 4 statements that are said over and over. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And so this is what he used. He would pick up a file, he would concentrate, read through what this person did, and then cleared out his own consciousness. Now, the only reason why that is working is when we believe that there is only one. If there is only one, then I can clear out whatever I have in my consciousness and know that it ripples out into the world, in fact, comforting and healing other individuals. Now, those of you who are familiar with the story know that that's exactly what happened. For 4 years, he worked on it. And I think about what happened in the 4th month, the 4th month when he was going into his office and doing this work. How much faith does this person have that it's working to continue to do it every day, day after day? And after 4 years, all but 2 of the inmates were released. Now, they didn't get better from one day to the next. It was a gradual process. And they were noticing that after a couple months, the doors could be open and they were able to move about. It's an amazing story. The Ho'oponopono. So what does that mean for us? 2 things, I think. One thing is, for me, it is such a confirmation that we are all one. That there is something underneath all of it, all of our personal, individual experiences, that is the river of life, and that it is available to each one of us. And the second one is to make ourselves available to it is through the power of forgiveness. Through the power of forgiveness. I have, I think, for 5 years now, taught forgiveness classes here. We have looked at different ways at the radical forgiveness from Colin Tippin, and we looked at Desmond Tutu's work in the book of forgiveness. And what it comes down to is there are many different forgiveness modalities out there. You know which one the best one is? The one we actually use. The one we use, the one we are willing to let go of whatever happened before. That's the one. And so I invite all of us to add this Ho'oponopono practice to it. Let's just do it right now. For a moment, just allow your eyes to close if that feels comfortable. Allow something that has your heart rattled or your ego rattled, and just breathe in. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I love you. Thank you. And so this practice allows us to really connect with that river of oneness that flows underneath all of it. If we open ourselves up, if we are willing to let go any of the pain, any of the limiting beliefs that we have picked up, any of the challenges, if we are allowing ourselves to let it go, we are stepping into that river. Here's a quote that speaks to that from Mark Napo. Imagine that beneath all our distrust, there's a stream of ongoing oneness, and the only way to enter it is to take off your distrust and bad experience like clothes. Yeah. We had fun. We went to the Verde River and did a little photo shoot and let go. So my invitation for this week is for all of us to feel into where am I still distrusting the allness of life? Where is it in my life where I say, I do believe that there's only one, except right in this part of my life? Maybe that one relationship. Maybe our relationship with finances. Maybe our relationship with our physical body. And then be willing to take this idea of oneness and apply it, turn it up, apply it fully. How would this area look if I actually believed that there's only one power, one presence, and that I can use it? How would my life change? I do not believe it is accidental that we find ourselves in this time between the virus, the political climate, the racial challenges, between all of it. I think this is a big call. How willing are we? How willing are you? How willing am I to step in? And those of you who clapped, those 3 claps at the beginning, remember, give it a try. When something comes, when you see something out there where you're like, oh, those people, I can't believe they are doing that. I invite yourself to stop and step into a forgiveness prayer and see how you can connect with that river that goes underneath everything that is oneness. I am so glad you are on this journey together with us here at the center. Much love. And so it is. And so we step into that activity that Reverend Leslie so beautiful talked about last week. I invite all the practitioners of this teaching, all the ministers who are present, to please rise and hold this consciousness with me. As we take a moment, just notice what we're noticing. Our experience of the allness of life, of sweet spirit, of infinite intelligence of God. We notice how that presence is showing up for us today. It might be in a smile, it might be in hearing the birds, in being reminded of who we truly are. And so we step into this prayer, we step into this declaration from that place of wholeness, from that place where we know that we know that we know that we are whole, perfect, and complete, just the way we are. Just the way we are and just the way we are not. And so it is from this place where deep is calling onto deep, where we are letting go of anything on the physical plane and anchor into our own power, the power of our word to speak clarity and love and wholeness and kindness and peace. And so I speak my word for and with all the beloveds who have placed a prayer request into the chat, who have sent an email with it, or who have placed it here in the prayer box, knowing the manifestation is assured. For the beloved spirit always says yes. Yes, my beloveds, yes. And so I know this truth for Andrew and John, for Tom and Carol, for Virginia and Henry, for Molly, Ron, Buzz, and Leslie, for Marty, Karen, Jeff, and Sue, for Judy and Susan and Ross, for Bill, Rebecca, Angelica, Larry, Kelly, and Rick, for Nancy, Joanne, Susan. And for all of the prayer requests, they remain on our hearts. We just add our love and light to them, knowing that in an infinite universe, everything is possible. Everything is possible. And so it is with an open heart and so much love that we experience the gratefulness of being able to pray for one another, hold each other up in the light. And so I simply place this word into universal law, the law that always says yes. We let it be, we let it go. And together we anchor this truth as we say, and so it is.